There's some players that walk into a program and they immediately shift the geometry of the field, not because they're the loudest or the flashiest or even the most hype, but because they force defensive coordinators to just rip up their game plans and then start from scratch. Max Klare is one of those guys, and if you're not paying attention to what his arrival means for Ohio State's offense in 2025, you're missing the potential for this group this season. This isn't just another tight end transfer. This is a scheme changer. He's a matchup nightmare, a roster weapon that turns a loaded room into something borderline unfair. So let's talk about why Max Klare doesn't just make Ohio State better, he transformed what this team is. I'm going to do it in 3 parts: his athletic versatility, the way he unlocks pick your poison scenarios, and then how he raises the ceiling for Brian Hartline in his first year as the play caller. Ohio State's had good tight ends before. Kate Stover was tough, he was dependable, physical. Like Jeremy Ruckert, he was a solid blocker who developed into kind of a reliable target. But Max Klare is something that they haven't had in Columbus in decades. A true receiving threat at the tight end spot with next level athleticism. At Purdue, he was the guy, and that says a lot of what he was able to do being in Purdue's program. At 684 yards on a bad offense against Big Ten defenses that really keyed on him. You really only had to take Max Klare away and you were going to beat Purdue. He led Power 5 returners in first downs plus touchdowns from the tight end spot. And now you drop that same player into a room where he's the third, maybe the fourth option, and you just gave a bazooka to a team that already had a sniper squad on the perimeter. What separates Klare is how he can line up anywhere, in line, in the slot, split him wide, put him in motion, stack him in a bunch set, drag him across formation. It doesn't really matter. He can go all over the field. He can run every route. He can separate. He can win down the seam. And he's not necessarily just a safety valve. He can be a feature piece, and that changes the map. Imagine trying to run some sort of zone coverage against an offense that can flex a tight end into that slot and then force your linebacker to cover him in space. It's like asking a defensive end to do ballet. It's not natural, it's unfair, and it's going to get exposed. Defending Ohio State in 2025 is going to feel a lot like standing in the middle of a room that has 3 ticking clocks and only 2 hands. Something's gonna go off. You just hope it's not the one that explodes. You got Jeremiah Smith on one side, who we already know looks like one of the best players in college football. You got Carnell Tate on the other, who's maybe a first-round pick in 2026. You got Brandon Inniss in the slot, and all 3 are matchup nightmares in their own right. But you add in a Max Klare who no one will game plan around because you're really facing off against these receivers, and that's a problem. Because what happens when you go too high to protect against Smith and Tate? Well, you got Klare eating your linebacker alive on an option route. If you roll coverage toward the outside, you got Klare one-on-one against nickel safety that's 5'11" and can't jump with him. It really is pick your poison, except every single bottle, every single option is laced. And that's the unique thing that Klare does. He breaks coverage shells for groups. You can't bracket him without giving space somewhere else. You can't ignore him, or he's gonna go 80 yards and a touchdown straight up the seam. And you can't try to put your 4th best defender on him and hope that that doesn't go unnoticed, because he will go noticed. This year is interesting. We're not talking about Ohio State enough, I think, because for the first time in years, we don't know exactly what their offense is going to look like, as far as you got a new quarterback, a new play caller, and there's some uncertainty up front. But what Klare gives Brian Hartline is flexibility. That kind of lets a first-year offensive coordinator ease into the job with a toolbox instead of a to-do list. He doesn't have to be exotic. He just has to be smart. He has the weapons. With Klare, you can disguise formations. You can create natural leverage. You can give a young quarterback some easy reads. If you want to go heavy and run the ball, Klare could block. If you want to go spread and push tempo, he can flex out. If you want to isolate matchups and manipulate safeties, just motion him and watch a defense panic. He gives you so many options. He's not just a chess piece. He's the kind of piece that changes what game you're playing. Truly, it could be matchup based. Whatever a defense wants to try to do, you can exploit them any way you want. And the scary part, he might not even be the guy you notice right away because the receivers are way too good. The backfield's talented. But that's exactly why he's so dangerous. He'll be an afterthought that can end so many teams' seasons. We know Ohio State has had elite weapons before, but Max Klare is different. He's the kind of player who doesn't just fit into a scheme, he forces you to expand it. He opens doors that weren't even on the blueprint. And in a year where Ohio State is trying to do what it's never done, go back to back, it's not always going to come down to the stars. Sometimes it's the guy who lets the stars shine. Max Klare is that guy. And he's about to make every defense in college football learn his name the hard way. If you like this video, feel free to like, subscribe for more college football content as the year goes along.